Good morning. We're back again, and now we're going to be talking into our discussion this morning on Good Morning Anambra. If you're just joining us, my name is Ajuruchukwu Okagwe.
And I am Ijoma Uche. Welcome.
Yeah, corruption. It's just so appalling to see that whenever that word comes up, and Nigeria will be, side by side it. And it's what's up that it's coming from our place where our lawmakers sit and execute laws that govern this country and the smooth running of it. And our topic this morning is going to be drawn from that, talking about alleged corruption in Nigeria's National Assembly. And in the studio this morning, we have John Ifejika, a public affairs analyst, that will be throwing his voice into the discussion we have this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure having you around.
Okay, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know. All of a sudden, we started looking at this one as if there's a new thing that happened that we started talking about this corruption in the National Assembly, and as if it's only domiciled in the National Assembly. Okay, perhaps maybe by tomorrow we'll look at that of the executive and the legislature. But for clearance purposes, let's look at what are the recent allegations of corruption in the National Assembly, one, and then which specific member or committee of the National Assembly have been implicated recently.
For some reasons, I will not mention names and go on that so that some matters are classified and being left like that. But when you talk of corruption, it doesn't follow only one committee. All the committees are involved, especially when they go on oversight. And when they ask you to come for budget defense, you now ask Radio Nigeria to come for budget defense when the Minister for Information has already done the budget defense. And by your coming, they ask you to bring certain amounts of money. And you begin to call, NTA will come, news agent, National News Agency will come, what do you call them? Voice of Nigeria will come, all of them will come, and all will come with something. They won't ask you anything, you won't defend anything. They say you are defending budget, which your minister has already done. But the budget comes in sacks of naira, and and I begin to wonder why all those criminals who always take money of innocent people don't go there to take this money from all these people. You see people carrying
budgets coming in sacks of naira is an allegation. So I said budgets coming in sacks of naira is an allegation. Is there any way we can play down and maybe look at specific areas where we have kind of pinned the National Assembly down on corruption?
My wife worked with an agency. Understand me. My wife was principal of a federal government college. And they will ask them to come. All the principals of 100 and how many schools in Nigeria will come with certain amount and say they want to defend. And when my wife retired, they were no more collecting naira, they were not collecting dollars. So what do you want us to prove? Will you do something in your house and your husband will not know, or you do something in your house, your wife will not know? This is something that is not a hidden fact. It happened like that. They keep on doing that. So will I now come and say fact? Which fact? I won't mention names, but those of them who were in charge of education. And so it is in other segments, information and so on. They will call you to say, come and defend. Which budget will a principal of a school, which is the minister of the ministry has already defended? You now ask them to start coming one by one. 109 schools. And if they give you 400,000 or 500,000 naira, which money meant for them to take care, subvention and grant given to them, you do that. At times they do certain things, they bring a project, pardon is another part of corruption we have. They will now pad something and put a project in your school, and they will come to supervise it and collect the money. You yourself that owns that thing will just stand. You will not know. Did they not do it here? Your gate was built. Your then MD didn't know anything about the gate. And you are telling me all those things. So there are so many things that happens. And we keep quiet and say this and that. It's been so. Now they are no more taking Naira. They are taking dollars. Because if you bring 400,000 Naira and you change it to dollars, you can put it in your pocket. Nobody knows that you're having anything. So it's not something hidden. They are not hiding anything. No. So they are all involved.
Now, on the 27th of last month, where the NAS director exposes alleged rampant corruption in the National Assembly, accusing National Assembly distinguished members of the Assembly of collecting bribes and collecting extra codes for trips that they didn't even embark on. Some of them including people that are not even meant to be part of the trip, or because they need extra money. And now this raised a whole lot of row in the upper chambers and the likes of it, to the level of corruption. As in, these are people that are earning so much money in salaries and allowances. Why would they still embark on issues like this? Is it a case of no penalties, no reprimanding that is actually happening, that our lawmakers tend to, be so avaricious when it has to do with waste of our commonwealth? I
am so surprised that it's coming now. You remember the case of the woman who was, I've forgotten, Ote, somebody Ote.
Patricia.
With a member of the House of Assembly who collected extra code and so on and wanted to embarrass the woman. The second day of the panel, the woman exploded. And up to today, we are expected that the Public Complaint Commission will have grabbed these people, but they kept quiet. So you see that this is a circle. This corruption that we're talking is a circle. But I thank God now that this man has just opened up, because it has been going on. It has been on for a very long time. What about if they come for the so-called oversight? They come for oversight, you must keep something. They don't check anything, it's the envelope you have. Once the envelope is there, they've just passed that, yes, you've done a lot. If contractors should come back and tell you, those doing road works and so on, we tell you what they suffer in the hands of members of the National Assembly, you will pity them. And that's why they have committee for everything. They will tell you they are going for oversight. And once they say so, the MD will be there, and they don't take check. They don't do transfer. You must carry the cash and come there, go to the bank and get all those things. And they are there. Now they are no more taking Naira, they are taking dollars. So when you give somebody a dollar worth 1 million Naira, nobody will know that he's having money. You just put it in an envelope and hold. You think it's just a paper that is holding. It's holding money. So all these things have been there for a very long time.
Well, these are serious allegations, because nobody has been indicted, apart from what Mrs. Ifeoma Ofili said in her outburst recently. I don't think anybody has been pinned down on the level of corruption in the National Assembly. But now, talking about what Ifeoma Ofili said, has any of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, or ICPC, has any of them really reacted? Because this is what we expect in a civilized crime, where if such allegation is raised by a top-ranking officer like a director that Ifeoma is, that EFCC and ICPC would have swooped in and then to ask questions, who are involved, and if possible, make some arrests, as they used to do.
They will not do it because it's a circle. The EFCC chairman we remember somebody who favored him for him to pass the test, because he had to face the Senate for them to confirm his appointment. So he's, I scratch my body, I scratch your own. And that is exactly what is happening. It's a big conspiracy that God will help us on. So they will not do anything, because somebody who favored you for you to become a minister or for you to hold a very high-ranking position, now is found wanting. You will not want to do anything because you remember what he did for you. So that is what we are suffering, except there will be a situation where the government will do something maybe from the presidency and give that directive. If not so, I don't see any EFCC or ICPC coming to arrest them. Like when Saraki faced the public commission, when he went to that court, it's because he was having disagreement with the presidency, and that's why he was asked to do that. But right now, nobody will have that, to say, Akpabio, come and face corruption issue. He will not do that because he's favoring the executive one way or the other. So you find out that it's only God that will save this country, or there is a change of government and somebody who is like Caesar's wife, who has transparency, clean, because he that must go to equity must go with clean hands. That's the person that will come and say, let's go back and see what happened in the time past. But today, nobody has that lever to do that because they have found one thing, one way or the other. That's it.
Well, to me, the image of the country we call our own, where we thrive, where we do business, and where we live. And you see the federal government making frantic efforts, jettisoning out of the country, trying to woo investors to come and invest in Nigeria, making it another revenue-generating apparatus. Now, Mr. John, are you saying that the federal government not tackling corruption and then going overseas, that is talking about the president now going overseas to make sure that investors, you understand, come and do business in Nigeria is all a facade? Because we need to make this place corruption-free in order for business to thrive, in order for our economy to begin to be ranked amongst the global growing economy.
Yeah, those who work with NMPC will tell you level of corruption involving even government. The president may not be corrupt, but what about his wards, his children, girlfriends, and so on? They do all these things, and they use the name of the president to say, we are doing this and that, and do certain things. I remember when the late president was president, one of his cousins have to go to CBN to collect some amount of money from CBN governor. And CBN governor will give him some amount of money, MFLA, and say because he knows that if he want to keep his job. There should be a situation where we should have people, just like if Soludo appoints you now as the MD of ABS, just appointment, somebody coming in and say, this is the favor I want, and you know that person is a close ally to the man who appoints you. You begin to dance. It's a blackmail. But there should be a way of doing appointment. If, just like the judiciary, they have the National Judicial Council that appoints all these judges, and you cannot remove a judge, you take him to that council, who begin to judge that case and so on. Not question of you now say, you will not leave this place. People want to keep their jobs. Because of that, they begin to dance into corruption. Because this corrupt thing is that you are in charge, maybe you are the bossa or you are the director of finance. The man in on top and say, bring me 5 million. As you are bringing 5 million, you are taking 1 million for yourself. That is it. And by the time you are giving an account, you say, okay, it's okay, it's okay. But if you know that your job, this man cannot query your job, you tell him, oh God, no, let's follow transparency. Let's go and do the normal thing. There's a procedure for doing things.
And that was what Ophelia did. Yes. When she was asked to come face the panel. And she blew the lid open. Yes. Isn't that meant to be the direction of, you understand, doing the right thing? And then we will now see EFCC, ICPC, and the rest of it all now moving to actually confirm what she said to be true. And then
you know why Ophelia was able to do that? Because Ophelia is a lame duck director about to go on retirement. There are young ones who are there, they know all these things, they cannot blow hot. Because if you blow hot, you'll be suppressed. And they now bring a younger person to be doing the job. They kind of pass you. You are a director. And they say, no, let me call a clerk who is under you to be doing the job. Don't you see it in offices? It happens.
It does.
Yeah. And they give you what we call a velvet ghetto. Director, you have everything, but when they are doing inner meeting, you are not there. You don't know what is happening. Only for them to say, we want to buy this and that, you sign. When they take the decision, you don't know. They leave you there, and your name is director. They do those things. Except we have a way of coming back to channel things properly in the civil service, in all the parastatals, and things will now go fine. Then there will be check and balances. We don't have it. Where is the EFCC? They are sleeping. Where is ICPC? They are sleeping.
Why are they sleeping?
Because of favoritism.
Because in the past, we have seen EFCC, ICPC pick these House of Assembly members and charge them to court. And most of them got convicted. Because is it the problem of ICPC and EFCC or the problem of the government in power? Because I don't understand. In the past, we saw about the Farouk Lawan of representing Kano State, his convention, that of the Chuma Zeribe from Anambra State, and then that of Senator Peter Nwabochi from Delta State. A whole lot of them, Senator Basi Albert Atman from Akwa Ibom. So these people we are charged and convicted by the same EFCC and ICPC.
Yeah, who was president then?
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Is
the problem from the executive who appointed this present
Senate president was removed. Senator Nwabara was removed by Obasanjo, and Professor Njoku was removed as Minister for Education because of corruption. All these things happened. You understand me? But tell me amongst who can do that? Can today's president remove the Senate president? He cannot.
Why?
Yes, because the Senate president, everything the president brings in is approved. There was no checks and balances. So it's a stooge of the executive. The Senate president has fallen to the president, so they pocketed the Senate. They want to go on a recess, they give them some amount of money. Money has taken over everything. It wasn't like that when Obasanjo was the president.
Apart from money, let's look at it. Yesterday we were looking at the appointment of the INEC chairman. Whose responsibility should it be so that we make sure that INEC is independent, that their name is replicated in their actions? Okay, that was what we discussed yesterday. Now, if the problem is from the appointment, that's who pays the piper dictates the tune.
The tune, that's it.
Because all these agencies, head of agencies are appointed by the president. Are there no other way we can circumvent this and then have these officers occupy their post because they merited it so that they'll be able to do their job? Like rising from ranks, okay? Is after you is AJ, after AJ is IJ, and then just like that. So that nobody appoints anybody. You'll be able to do your job the way you're supposed to.
You know that you are there on merit.
Yes.
Because by promotion, you started from the strata and moved to become the head of INEC. But this is something that from nowhere they bring somebody. Now, if I know that I will be the next INEC chairman, I will not be involved in corruption. I want to live a life of transparency. You understand
and
me?
Keep my file clean.
Yeah, everything will be clean. And when I get there, I want to break a record that tomorrow there will be a legacy for my children. But when you appoint me, I want to favor you.
And this appointment comes with conditions.
Conditions.
I'm going to put it here. This is what I want you to do.
That is the problem.
I don't know.
Well,
it does appear that we are still very far.
It's a problem.
Right.
In fact, it appeared in virtually almost all the dailies we talked about today, and that is still, in symbiosis with what we are discussing, corruption. Obasanjo, former president, and Anyaku are talking really, really tough on the need for our leaders to be upright, and then the Constitution to be looked into. The 1999 Constitution as amended. Is working on the Constitution going to actually help reduce the level of corruption we have in this country, or is it just one of those issues that we need to bring up in order to create a little bit of diversion from the heated polity of the lopsidedness of Nigeria.
This constitution you are talking about was single-handedly written by Abdul Salam Abubakar. Single-handedly. Because John Wodo, who happened to be his Minister for Information, was not aware. Other ministers who served under him were not aware of what was in the constitution. Suddenly they brought the constitution and gave to them. I think there will be a committee that will sit up and write committee. And when we look at it, we say, no, do it this way, do it that way. You understand? That has been the thing. So you make it to favor some set of people. The constitution is not properly. But where so many people come with their knowledge, their understanding, we talk of having a constitution. So Nigeria had to go back and get a 50-man committee that will draft a new constitution for Nigeria. 50 wise men to draft the constitution.
Why 50?
Huh?
Why 50?
Of course, it's a big this thing, not 5, not 2 people. Because that constitution you are talking, Abubakar Salami picked some set of people and brought it, and nobody knew about it. And they did something and they brought it and forcefully imposed it on us. They forcefully imposed that on us.
Are you saying that what we need is a rejig of the whole system to write a new one?
Yes, to write a new...
Or to keep an
So what happens to the government that have sworn to that constitution that we are presently under? A president swore to that constitution and is in office.
It's in office. Did he follow it? Look at what happened in Rivers State. The president has no right to remove Fubara. Constitutionally, he has no right. Jonathan knew, and Jonathan did not remove Shetima. And when Shetima said it, everybody started attacking Shetima that is anti-presidency.
Well, he's not anti-presidency because he was the person involved.
Yes, but he said it, what happened? And they will have used the same thing. You caution the man and tell him there will be state of emergency.
Yeah, I think that was what Shetima said, that
yes.
Jonathan wanted to remove him. Then he was advised by the
AG, the Attorney General.
The Attorney General, that it is unconstitutional.
To remove a local government chairman.
Councillor.
Yeah.
And then he restricted. But then, let's look at this, let's get back to the Constitution. This morning we were looking at, what do you call it, Anyoko and Obasanjo's debate on the Constitution because of the review that is going on now. And then Obasanjo was saying that the problem is not the Constitution, but the people that are applying the Constitution. The problem is in the application of what is written in the Constitution. Do you agree with him? I
agree with him in total. That's true.
So in a nation whereby you defy the Constitution of the land, is there no consequence? Like what happened in Rivers State?
Yeah, but some people will tell you, you know, there's this hypocrisy going on. It's just like it's just like in the church today. The bishop may decide and say, oh, this part of the church is not proper, let's demolish it. You see some reverend gentlemen or reverend father saying, my Lord, you are in order. You are in order. You are in the spirit. You understand me? Whereas he has made a blunder. That is exactly what is happening. The president will mess up. Nobody could come because of high service and tell him the truth and say, sir, you've overshot your boundary. This is...
Are you meant to tell the president that he has overshot the boundary?
Why won't you tell?
No, I'm coming. These are questions we need to ask. There are certain things you need to put into consideration. Is it that the president doesn't know that he has shot the boundary, or you need to tell the president?
The president is a human being and he has limitations, and that is why you should have advisors who are wiser than him.
You have lieutenants.
Yes, we used to have what we call think tank. People who understand, who know better. Forget about your minister. If I'm president today, I will have think tank. People who know better, and I will consult them. It happened in the Bible during the time of Babylon Empire. The man will call his people satraps. That was what they called them. They will come and advise him. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge.
Of anything at all. And then when they advise you, take the advice.
You take the advice.
So that's where the problem lies. Some of them would even say that, look at Jonathan was advised, don't try it with Shetima, that you don't have the right. And he restrained. But some people would have equally advised this guy if he wants to tell us the truth. Some people would have even advised the president that this is unconstitutional law. He said, so what? Who is the Constitution? I am the Constitution. So that's what it's like in Africa. It's not just in Nigeria. It's everywhere in Africa. And that's not good enough. Perhaps that's why we're not developing. That's why we're not growing. Because the people that you are trying to attract to come and invest in your country is monitoring you. They know you don't have laws. You don't have orders.
How many of them have come?
Nothing. So if anything happens to their investment, they don't even know where to hold you, because you disrespect your constitution, which of course you should have used to say that, no, this is what I should get because I invest here. They don't know this, and they will keep clamoring, we want to invest. If you talk in social media, they say, shut up, you are driving the investors away. Like the investors are blind. Yeah, they don't see what's going on.
They are not living in this continent.
No, that's too bad.
They are from the moon.
Okay, at this point, let us call for a street walk and get to feel the pulse of our street parliamentarians and get to know what they have to say on the discourse that we are having here in the studio. Don't go anywhere. The show continues after this short break.
Well, I can't say anything about that because everyone is corrupt. So there's no exception of corruption. Everyone can be corrupt at any given time. That's my opinion. Nobody is above law or mistake. That's my opinion.
It's an accusation. It's an allegation. Nobody knows the truth about it until it is established either by the House or by the law court. They know what they are passing through or what they are observing, what they are seeing going on in the House that made them to begin to allege or begin to accuse them.
Our so-called staffs, because if you want to lay an accusation, you have to start from somewhere. Where is it coming? Is it based on what grounds? Is there any evidence really? Because you can't, because of one black cat and you give other black cats bad name. There are actually some senators that are working in their basic municipalities. It can't be all of them. You can't condemn all of them. So some are working.
I think they are all the same. They work at the National Assembly. They see the day-to-day activities, the running activities of the National Assembly. So if they accuse the senators of corruption, there might be an atom of truth in it. Just like you in a family, you live in a house, in a family, your children accuse your father, of corruption. There might be some atom of truth in it.
So it is left for them to prove their point, either molestation or financial malpractices and whatever area of the allegation. They need to prove it to the people and the others.
So let them come with evidence. Start from somewhere. You understand? Start from somewhere. They can't be generalizing. That's generalizing. So they should make something workable by bringing an evidence. That's where they start.
When someone is being accused of corruption, is a very heavy allegation, and you must have facts to back your allegation. If they have facts, let them bring it to the table, and let's see how it goes.
Verdict from our street parliamentarians on the need for us to sanitize not just our National Assembly, but everything. We need to work on ourselves, because Nigerians are the ones governing Nigerians. As it is, democracy is for the people, by the people, and for the people. Until we begin to look for ways to re-engineer our mindset, because the people that we are labeling to be corrupt are from us, because they are from Nigeria, families in Nigeria and the rest of it. Now, next, we want to now talk about where we can start getting it right, because we wouldn't want to be known as the epicenter of corruption in the world. I think that title is not too deserving, because in Nigeria we have lots of Nigerians that are making waves in academics, sciences, sports, and the likes of it all. But our politicians are not putting us in good light. Now, let me come back to you, John. Nigeria was not like this, let's say 40 years ago. How did we start this issue of everything is corruption, everybody needs to pay for something, you go to the ministry, you have a file, your file doesn't move until you grease people's palms, and then everything is just all about money, 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 money. How did we get it wrong?
It's part of development. In AD 875, there was issue of corruption in Vatican City. Vatican City. We had about 5 or 6 popes who headed Vatican City that were very corrupt.
Really?
And so, yes. And there was even one that showed corruption. He came up. That was Pope Stephen. I don't know Pope Stephen the what. It's this thing. That was in AD 875. He came in when we assumed a pope that died, I think Pope Boniface, and wore him clothes and put him on a seat and judged him. And at the end of the day, burnt him alive for punishment.
Burnt the dead.
I'm telling you. So then in America, we also have Watergate scandal that removed President Nixon. Watergate scandal. So we've been having all these things. It's part of development.
So what was about that?
So what is for us now to come back?
What happened with the Watergate?
Watergate scandal. Now President Nixon messed up. Something he did, and he was asked.
Was it a financial corruption?
Yes, it has, and it was misappropriation.
Oh, okay.
And misappropriation does not mean you stole. That's money meant for ABS. You now use it to build garage. And you see, that is misappropriation.
Was it the same thing that happened in Vatican too?
No, that of Vatican was, you see them, they are corrupt, they ate money, they do so many things.
What are they doing with money? They're not married, they don't have family.
So many things. Some of them had family, and they found out. So they now went back to do what? To arrange and do certain things. So America has done their own. Nigeria should go back to the drawing board and arrange Nigeria, make sure that Nigeria becomes a peaceful place.
Yeah. But Nigeria was already Nigeria was a peaceful place before this. I don't know about the Vatican. Yes. Before the 1875 AD.
Now this government came in because during the time Obasanjo was there, that was how he formed. There was corruption, and that was why he picked somebody like Ribadu to come in and deal with him. Don't forget that during the time of Obasanjo, that Inspector General of Police Tafa Balogun was embarrassed and removed from office. And some officers did not like it because of the way Ribadu dealt with him physically, which they felt that is not in the spirit of esprit de corps. And that was why when Ribadu was promoted to AIG, they said no, his rank should be Deputy Commissioner of Police. They corrected that. They went ahead of the president to say no, you don't just jump the Police Public Service Commission and Police Service Commission and do things. You go through the normal process. And that was why he left the police force. He resigned. They said there's a process. So if every organization begin to find that, and why was it so? Because Okilo knew that his turn to be the IG of police. And as he was leaving, everybody knew that it was a Kundayo that would be the IG of police, not now picking one man. And the man you put there is supposed to have gone on retirement, and he's still there. So when anything happens, he cannot challenge you because he knows that he's working on borrowed time.
He's on borrowed time.
Yes, that you are the one keeping him there. So he will now work and agree with you, will become a yes man. So
you see where we started getting it wrong.
But that is more like recently. I'm talking about.
No, in those days, you follow things you know. Onovo, because Onovo at the time was the most senior policeman. Onovo became IG, an Igbo man from Enugu State. It started to go in that series. The same thing Abubakar Mohammed. They start to move at that space. But today they can pick you.
And retire fine officers.
Fine officers that they use money to train, they won't go on retirement.
It's horrible.
And now when I know that about 10 people were my senior and I became the IG, I will do the bidding of the president. The same thing in the army.
And these are the particles of corruption that come.
Because what the army does is that in a set, coming out from Nigerian Defense Academy,
class of this, class of that.
And they know that there's an outstanding officer. Like when Dogonyaro was moving during the time of 5BP, we all knew that Dogonyaro would become the chief of army staff or chief of defense staff, and he did. You now know because
You know, somebody once said that that's why we're having problem with our militaries and then some of these paramilitaries. That's because you just pick a junior, and then you make him a head, retiring all the officers that are hit to expecting to get to the heights of their career. That some of these officers will go back and start sabotaging the effort of the government. That's perhaps why we're having problem with the security situation in the country. Okay, so you wouldn't even know where your problem is coming from. And that's why we should be very careful. Obasanjo actually fought corruption. Let's get back to where we are. Fought corruption.
He fought corruption.
Yes.
Actually, and did it. We all saw it.
Yeah, but it was during Obasanjo's regime that we had this analysis in Madeke that he's
Desani was Jonathan.
Oh, okay. I thought he came in during Obasanjo and continued with Jonathan.
No, Desani Allison was.
Okay, so could it be that the fight against corruption dropped by the time Jonathan came in?
Yes, when
before Jonathan was Yaradua.
Before Jonathan was Yaradua.
No, Jonathan Yaradua. Yaradua was just barely 2 years.
So they now came, walked, and so on. Then when Jonathan came, people see him as not being a very forceful leader. They felt it wasn't. But we all agreed. But now they now say, let us vote for transparency. Transparency came, and immediately transparency came. Bag of rice was 8,000 naira. From there, it went to 30,000 naira.
It becomes very transparent.
Transparency came. People started, the National Assembly started collecting money, started doing this, no matter. Because during the time of Jonathan, my wife was already working, and the director, they don't ask them to come and defend budget. It was during the time of transparency that they started defending budget. And these guys will now tell you, do this, do that. They started. And when second tenor of transparency, my wife has retired, they now start telling them to change the money into dollars and come to the National Assembly. And the time they want to go on this, their oversight function, they come again and tell you what and what to do. They all know what is happening. They all know. And the funny thing is that legislature, they are corrupt. Judiciary is also corrupt. Executive corrupt. What we need in Nigeria is total overhauling. Total overhauling. And the man that will overhaul Nigeria is a man that has no townsman. A man that has no relation. Somebody like Melchizedek, who has no beginning, no end. That's the person that can change Nigeria. Because if tomorrow now I become president of Nigeria, my community will come and say they want to come and thank God for me. And there they will close the door and tell me that this is our turn. And you know what it means to tell you that this is our turn. So you find out that corruption, we ourselves are also involved in corruption. If your friend is made a leader and you go and tell him certain things, then you are supporting corruption. So it's a thing that...
What do you mean by certain things?
Huh?
What do you mean by telling him certain things?
Now you become a commissioner or something and seeking Ijebego. And that means the people who come and meet you and say, IJ, remember, this is our turn. This. Some will be teaching you how to change something and how to falsify this thing. They will teach you because you don't know it. It's people that will teach you.
Talking about teaching you, there's been this allegation in the past whereby the politicians are saying that we came in from private sector and then got ourselves into this public sector. Hitherto, we never knew anything about corruption or how this and that. That we were tutored by the civil servants in the office that we met that will always tell us that this is the way we do it. Oga, do it like this, we will cover you. We will clean this one. This one will not come out in the ledger. This one will be this and this one will be that. That it was the civil servants, the people that are earning 70 or less than 70%, that are teaching the politicians how to steal and cover, even in the public sector.
Yes, Aminu Kano, late Aminu Kano was one time Federal Commissioner for Communication. He built that post office at Oka. Remember when he came? Now, Aminu Kano said one thing, and that is what is playing now. He said the day the civil servants in the civil service will teach the politicians how to steal money, that day Nigeria is finished. I think that is exactly what we are facing now. Because it's the civil servants that will tell you. Because if somebody is coming now as a commissioner in a ministry or minister, he doesn't know how the money is being used or so on. It's a civil servant that will guide him. Oga, sign it like this and that. Oga, by the time you give them something, or they're supposed to give us a gunje. You know what is called a gunje? You will explain what is called a gunje to you.
Is he a civil servant? It's not a civil servant, it's a
journalist. You understand the language.
Do you understand, AJ? What is a gunje?
Kickback.
Kickback. What language is that?
Yoruba.
Oh.
So, and it's a very common thing. So he will tell you that before you sign, they do so and so. And maybe as a minister, your wife, as we are coming to work, your wife was telling you that next week they say Amechi will pay the school fees or the money, and the school fees of your children is about 1 million naira. You are thinking when they will pay you salary to get. And now somebody gave you a budget that day of 3 million. You see, say corruption is sweet for somebody who doesn't have conscience.
And I just heard one guy said it in the studio now. You know, that is oversize something is good though, for those of them that go to the field.
For the field.
You know, that's where they get their whatever. Okay,
egunje. You see, now the person that comes back home, 3 million, the wife was demanding for 1 million, and he gave the wife 1.5. The wife will say, God, we had this thing, come on, make it continue. And forgetting that it's the money of the person who sells oil.
The thing will become prayer
and salt in the market. The money is meant for dead poor people. You see it.
Now, how do we change this narrative? You've talked about the home, you've talked about the workplace, you've talked about even the church, you've talked about our National Assembly. So does it mean that there is no respite? How are we going to change this narrative? Are we taking it step by step from the home to church before we now begin to go to the public, the workplace, and the civil service, the government? Where do we need to get it on? Because I'm sure you didn't grow up meeting Nigeria like this. No, when you were in secondary school, I'm sure you didn't. Nigeria wasn't this. Yes. So you are the generation that have seen the very best of this country, and now you're seeing the worst of it.
Yes, what happened is that Nigeria have to have a reorientation. Now start catching them young.
Does that have to do with the Constitution?
No. Now start with total civic education and do what I call indoctrination. Now there was a Chinese boy that was crying. I don't know what the mother did to him. I don't know whether any of you have seen that. So immediately the boy had the national anthem of China. The boy stopped crying, he stood up. And he stood at attention. After the national anthem, he came back and started crying again. Yeah. You understand me? Indoctrination. Tell them that we don't do so and so thing. They start with total civic education and leave this wasted generation to go. You start indoctrinating these young ones, they now know. Politicians have raped us with hunger. They've raped us with pains, with sorrows. And now when you see 10 naira, your own money or your body will be shaking. You understand me? Yes. It happened in offices. Maybe now there's an amount of money the governor said they should pay to people. And they now say the money they have, they will be paying it batch by batch. And maybe you are supposed to be giving 100,000. The person in charge said, give me 20,000, I give you 80 immediately. Some people will agree. Will agree immediately.
Because the 80,000 was not even expected in
it wasn't expected, and he will collect his money. Then those of us who will say no, we wait maybe till December before we get our own.
If you will ever get it.
You understand me? That is how this thing starts. It's everywhere. The receiver, the giver, everybody is corrupt. So we have to have a new reorientation, but we have to start it young. By all these young ones, begin to have a new Nigeria. Begin to teach them way that we don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. The church is corrupt, because if 3 of us go to church and you give more money and I don't give, they will be mentioning your name every time. So that's the thing.
And whenever you come late, they will call you, they will suspend the sermon and then call you to come from behind, to come and take your seat in the front, and that's where you belong. No, we are looking at corruption. Wait till they please me. Are you a pastor? Go and tell
Do you own the church?
Do you own the church? I go to church now. I go to church now. You know, so that's what it's like. Corruption everywhere you go. Even those, you know, when you were talking about orientation, I wanted to ask you, who are those that are going to bring the orientation about? Is it these people that are living in corruption? Who is going to champion it? Okay? Because I don't know. You run to the church. You just mentioned church. Now you mentioned church, okay? No follow. You run to the church. It's like what is there is even worse when it comes to corruption. You go to the ministries, you go to anywhere. Who is going to champion the reorientation? Is it the National Orientation Agency that they will be giving money and tell them what to say and what to do? Okay, so where do we start and where do we stop? I think we need a total rejigging, if you ask me. Exactly what Ghana did. I mean, what's the name of the Ghanaian man? Rollins did in Ghana. I think that's what we need here. Okay, so it's not just, you know, all these far places. Yeah. It happened in Africa.
Yeah, but that we
can start from the beginning. No, even if, you may not really kill them, just jail all of them, carry all of them, put in prison, and then start a new era. Yes. Why are you looking at me? Are you a politician? Sorry.
I'm looking at you because you're saying what is not even obtainable.
You see, that's the problem. Yeah, because we don't even believe it's possible we can make Nigeria work again. And then they will come and tell you to read it in the news that will make Nigeria work. You read.
Nigeria.
But you don't even believe what you are reading.
Nigeria will work again, but not by... Okay. It's going to work by... You see, there is no how bad a situation can get that being good is totally eliminated from it. Someday it will just be like a flip, and everything will just begin to be in, and it has to start from the top. To me, this country getting it back on the right track has to start from the top. By the time the man at the ends of affair understands that his family is not in a project to be empowered, that he wants to do the right thing, those offices, those civil service that you see, everybody will sit tight because they know that Oga no they collect Emunje. That if you do the right thing, appointment is based on merit, and everything starts to begin to fall in place. You drive on the road, you see people violating ordinary traffic light, because there's nobody that is there to you're not paying any fine, no penalty for doing wrong. And then you see people.
You don't violate in Anambra now. They go catch you.
But if they see, they still beat it.
At the car we park, they start abusing me.
You understand? Exactly.
They start abusing me. Move. Stupid man. This. So getting a drug. You know, that kind of a thing.
So look for a driver.
Exactly. If we can't obey something as minute as traffic light, how much more can you resist somebody that is giving you an envelope so that you push his file?
But don't forget that with all these things happening, there are some Nigerians that have picked millions of naira and they return it back.
Of course.
So that shows that there is
still hope of redemption.
But all these, what do you call them, professional politicians will never allow people like that to get into power where they will exercise that goodness in them. Well, that's the problem we're having. We still have good Nigerians.
We have.
But where is the opportunity for them to get at the top, to start doing the correction?
Yeah, because the politicians have hijacked that mechanism.
That's why I say let's collect all of them and jail them. You said no.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. And all of them. Then banks should do something.
That's why I said it's coming from the top.
Yes.
It has to come from the top.
If I am voted and I had only 100,000 in my account, and after 4 years I'm having 90 million, then there must be a problem. That money is not my salary.
But that is encouraging taking the money to outside to go and be depositing in foreign accounts. No. Because that's what most of our politicians do.
But somebody launder it for them. And now put that any bank who launders will go for life imprisonment. Who help politicians to launder money will go for life imprisonment.
Oh, if you get to trace and then you get...
They will trace them. Why?
Okay.
They will trace them.
Well, that's so much. Thank you so much for all that you've heard. And then Nigeria is in a rebuilding phase. And it definitely you have a role to play in that. Because from your little comfort zone, you can contribute into the growth, positive growth of this nation by doing the right thing. Before we even came on live this morning, we were talking about a colleague that is so dedicated to the job. And we said, It is easy to appreciate people when they do the right thing at the right time without being prompted. And that's more like the Nigerian project. If you know that this is your set job and you do it with dedication, there are people that are seeing you. You might not know, but people are seeing you and they're giving you the right commendation. And do that little bit and then continue. Because your good acts might transform some other person. So it becomes like a chain reaction. Wherever you find yourself, try it as much as you can to do the right thing. And I'm sure it will leave a long-lasting impression in the minds of people that are around you. And you might definitely be putting us in the right stead. Like I was saying today, I will need to go and do my continuous voter registration because I can't find my voter's card, and I need to. No matter what Nigeria seems to be like today, I have voted right from the moment I turned 18. And this year, November 8th, I will definitely go and vote because it's my civic responsibility. That's my own part to pay in making Nigeria great by putting my voice where it's heard in selecting who I feel I can be comfortable with and my children can be comfortable with their affairs running this state. That's for Anambra and then for Nigeria in the later on. And that's how we're going to be wrapping it up this morning on the discussion segment on Good Morning Anambra. Mr. John, thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Well, you guys are part of people that have enjoyed this country. When they talk about corruption.
I did. Because in Ahmad Bello University, you will need milk. You go and meet them. I'm expecting a visitor. They will bring it. How many things do you need? You say only one. The other people that followed you will say they don't need it. But today, will you bring milk? They will share it.
Because hunger has been weaponized.
Exactly. And these are what our leaders that are sitting in that House of Assembly, they all enjoyed this. Some of them went to school abroad, free of charge. Honestly. And yet we can't even school in Nigeria.
Or even went to school on scholarship basis.
Exactly.
Within the country. So, eat all the best food in the country.
These are the kind of things and we believe that Nigeria will definitely be great again. Well, that's how we're going to be wrapping it up and still remain at Julichuko Okabwe. Up next is Catch the Boss.
Okay. Hold on, we'll come back to you.